Welcome to Does It Matter by Brainy Ballers, where we dissect the game with cutting-edge analytics to give you the upper hand. We analyze everything from hand sizes to average depth of targets to uncover hidden trends that no one else sees. Say goodbye to guesswork and hello to data-driven domination. Because here at Brainy Ballers, we don't just watch the game, we understand it. So get ready, it's podcast time.
Let's unpack this. We're going deep into one of the most specific physical metrics you can imagine.
The tight end 225-pound bench press.
Exactly. And the mission for you is simple. We want to find out if that raw upper body strength, does it actually translate into PPR fantasy football success?
A great question. Because the tight end position is it's constantly changing. Are we looking for blockers anymore? Or are we just hunting for these oversized receiving threats?
So this analysis dug into that. It looked at the top 50 PPR finishers every single season since 2003.
And it pitted the elite guys, top 10 against the bottom tier, players finishing 41st through 50th, just to see what separates them.
And right off the bat, the initial numbers, they seem to give the strength guys a win.
We really do.
Across those 21 seasons, in almost 62% of them, the top 5 fantasy finishers had a higher average bench press total than the guys way down at the bottom.
Which means, more often than not, the players putting up the big fantasy points are, well, objectively stronger.
That feels pretty straightforward.
Yeah, and that trend is what let the researchers find what they called a quantitative sweet spot.
Okay, so a specific number.
Specific number. They found that if a player hit 22 bench press reps or higher, that group, they had a 9.6% higher rate of finishing in the top 10.
Almost a 10% bump? That feels actionable. That feels like a real solid benchmark you can use.
It does. It absolutely does. But this is where the whole thing kind of turns on itself.
This is the surprising part. Because that 9.6% feels significant, but the deeper stats tell a totally different story.
A completely different story. It's a huge statistical contradiction. When you apply, real statistical rigor, that correlation it vanishes.
How so?
They calculated the Pearson value. For you is just a way to measure how reliably one thing predicts another. And the value they found between bench press reps and future fantasy points was a tiny...
Do you want to start dominating your drafts? At BrainyBallers.com, we've researched every metric under the sun for you to find which ones are best linked to fantasy points. You can access hundreds of metrics to sharpen your scouting abilities so you know which metrics matter and which are just noise. Stop guessing on which thresholds to look for within each metric. Big numbers can be misleading or irrelevant. Our Ultimate Athlete Blueprints reveal essential scouting metrics, their importance, and benchmarks within each metric that help predict a player's probability of being a success or bust. Elevate your scouting ability with Brainy Ballers Ultimate Athlete Blueprints today. Click the link in the description. Now back to the show.
0.025?
0.025. That's nothing. That's statistical noise.
It's basically zero. For correlation to mean anything at this level, you need a value over 0.1 or less than negative 0.1.
So to give you some context for just how small that number is.
Yeah, think about a metric that everyone agrees is predictive, like QB draft capital.
Right.
That has a Pearson value of negative 0.219. It's an order of magnitude more predictive. So the bench press it's just flatlining here.
Okay, so wait. If the top tight ends are stronger over 60% of the time, why do the stats fail so completely to capture that relationship?
That's the real question. It tells us that the bench press isn't the key to success. It's more like the ticket to get into the dance.
It gets you on the field, but it doesn't get you the ball.
Exactly. You need that functional strength just to survive in the NFL, to block, to handle the grind. But what gets you PPR points is target share, route running, scheme. The strength is for survival, but the hands and athleticism are for scoring.
And is this trend changing over time? Is strength getting less important?
We see a really clear decadal trend, yeah. The importance of that 22-rep sweet spot is actually decreasing in the most recent decade of the data.
So the league is moving away from it?
It seems so. The modern NFL just values that receiving prowess far more than it does brute strength at the tight end spot.
Okay, so here's the final application for you when you're getting ready for your draft. The conclusion is that you should never use the bench press as a standalone predictor.
Never.
But that 22-rep benchmark can be a really valuable tiebreaker. A final bit of evidence when you're stuck between two guys you have rated equally.
Precisely. It signals that a player might be better equipped for the physical toll of the season. It's useful context, but it's not the main argument for drafting someone.
Right. It's just context. So here's a thought to chew on. If a fundamental strength metrics, something that used to define the position, is now less predictive, what does that say about where the tight end position is going in the next 10 years? Are we just moving toward a league where the top tight ends are essentially scouted and valued like massive wide receivers? Something to think about as you start putting together those rankings.